Hello, YouTube family, and welcome to Hanging Out with Harlow Rain or Harlow Rain's Hangout. Okay, we're going to discuss the benefits of Irish sea moss, which is heavily promoted by Dr. Sebi. He even did a drop where he dropped onto his knees because sea moss is dense in calcium, so it really strengthens the bones. So we're going to discuss a little bit of what Irish sea moss can do for you. Okay, Irish sea moss, Crondus crispus, also known as Irish moss, is a type of red seaweed found along the Atlantic coastlines of Europe and North America. It has gained popularity for both its nutritional content and potential health benefits, many of which are still being researched. So here's what the current studies and expert reviews highlight about Irish sea moss. Key potential benefits of Irish sea moss. 1. Thyroid support. And I could prove it myself. It has really helped my thyroid to heal. So thyroid support, because it's very rich in iodine. Sea moss may help support thyroid health, aiding in the production of essential thyroid hormones involved in regulating the metabolism, heart rate, and other vital processes. And there are links to many of the studies. Gut health is high fiber and prebiotic content can help nourish beneficial gut bacteria, promote good digestion, and support overall gastrointestinal health. It does. It really helps with your intestinal situations or issues. I used to have a lot of bloating. I notice when I take it daily, the bloating goes away. And also I added more of Dr. Sebi's recommended foods from his nutritional guides. And another thing, it promotes regularity. Okay, so because it provides bulk and it more fiber and it moves it through the gut. Okay, immune system boost. Okay, it contains antioxidants, vitamins such as vitamin C, and phytochemicals that may enhance immune function and offer protection against infection and oxidative stress. Now, phytochemicals or phytonutrients, those are the chemicals that the plant itself produces to survive its environment. So you're also getting the nutrients from the plant that itself used to survive and thrive in its environment in the ocean. Okay, heart health, it benefits your heart. The fiber and omega-3 content in sea moss can help lower bad cholesterol and regulate blood pressure and support overall cardiovascular health. Now, the bad cholesterol, I think, are the LDLs, and the HDLs are the good cholesterol. So it lowers the LDLs, and while not affecting the HDLs. Weight management. Fiber-rich foods like sea moss help you to feel fuller for longer, potentially aiding in weight control and reducing overeating. I usually take a little sea moss before I have a meal, before I have my first meal of the day, and I notice that it gives me an overall feeling of satiety, where I feel full, the sensation of fullness. Okay, anti-inflammatory effects. Sea moss possesses antioxidants and phytophenols that may reduce inflammation, contributing to general wellness and disease prevention. Because you could tell if you're feeling inflamed because you feel as though your body is burning, as if you had a bad suntan. Okay, skin health. The collagen and the phytosaccharides in Irish moss are used in skincare products, potentially supporting hydration, collagen production, and reducing irritation. So it's really good for your skin. I take it internally. I don't apply it to my skin. I just take it internally. It's best to get your nutrients from within to work without, because as you take in healthy nutrients, it'll show on your skin. And that's the best thing. That it's better than applying something to your skin that can be rinsed off or washed off or sweated off. It's best to take in your nutrients instead of applying it to your skin if possible. Okay, respiratory health. Traditional use includes soothing sore throats, persistent coughs, and the flu due to its demucent and protective properties for mucous membranes. So with sea moss gel, it has it feels kind of slippery. Okay, that's the property that protects the lining of the gut and the lungs and the throat. So it nourishes your mucous membranes. Blood sugar regulation. The fiber content helps slow digestion, which can balance blood sugar levels. So your blood is getting glucose evenly instead of spiking. Okay? So the nutritional profile, Irish sea moss provides an abundance of minerals such as iron, potassium, calcium, magnesium, vitamins A, E, and C, and is particularly high in iodine and fiber. It contains trace amounts of protein, which is protein, I don't even like using that term. It contains trace amounts of amino acids and enzymes, which promotes muscle growth and protects your muscles from atrophy, from shrinking, and may accumulate heavy metals. So it pulls some heavy metals out. Moderation and quality sourcing are important. So just like it helps to protect you, you want to make sure you go to the correct source to get your sea moss. You don't want to go somewhere where the sea moss is not a good quality, because it can have heavy metals in it that it absorbs from the ocean. So you want to make sure you go to a reputable source. Now, I buy mine through Amazon, but there are other places where you can get good quality sea moss. Okay, now, conclusion. Now, I would say a caveat: most claims regarding Irish sea moss are based on preliminary research or traditional uses. More rigorous scientific studies are needed to conclusively confirm its effectiveness for specific health conditions. And so you want to be really careful with that, okay? Conclusion: Irish sea moss is a nutrient-dense seaweed offering potential support for thyroid, gut, immune, heart, skin, respiratory health, and more. Its fiber and mineral content complement a balanced diet. So taking this in addition to following Dr. Sevi's nutritional guide would truly benefit you. But first, always consult your healthcare provider. And especially if you can find one who practices integrated medicine, which is a combination of traditional medicine, herbal medicine, ancient medicine, as well as allopathic medicine, which is considered Western medicine. Okay, so always check with a healthcare professional before taking any supplement, not just Irish sea moss. And especially if you have an underlying health condition or is taking medication, because you don't want to have any counterindicated effects between the medication and the Irish sea moss. So it has been studied, scientific studies on Irish sea moss nutrients. Several scientific studies have analyzed the nutritional content of Irish moss, Chondrus crispus. That is the particular species, I guess, or type of sea moss, because there are different types of sea moss. You have the purple sea moss. You have the sea moss that's kind of tan looking. So several scientific studies have analyzed the nutritional content of Irish moss, revealing it as a dense source of beneficial nutrients and bioactive compounds. Here are key findings from published research. Macronutrients and dietary value. They use the word protein, but I say amino acids and enzymes. Irish sea moss contains 10 to 27% protein by dry weight with a high quality amino acid profile, including all essential amino acids. It actually provides about 92 of the essential daily required nutrients. We require 102. I think sea moss brings in 92 of those nutrients. Okay, carbohydrates. About 19 to 52% of its dry weight. That's before you add the water to it and soak it. Largely made up of polysaccharides, including carrageenan, which is valuable for gut and metabolic health. Okay, so it protects your health and it protects your body's ability to do what it needs to function. Because metabolic is a term that describes, so metabolic means, it's like it has to do with your metabolism, how it breaks down chemicals and have chemical reactions within the body. Okay. Lipids, those are fats. Low in total fats, ranging from 0.4 to 5.8% of its dry weight, but includes some polysaturated fatty acids, rare for non-animal sources, but it's still good for you. It's plant. Okay, vitamins and minerals. Major minerals, milligrams, like 100 per 100 grams of dry weight. Sodium, up to 4,270 milligrams. Potassium, up to 3,184 milligrams. Potassium is good for heart health. Calcium, which is good for bone health, up to 1,120 milligrams per 100 grams of dry weight. Magnesium, up to 732 milligrams. Iron, up to 17 milligrams. And iron is good for the red blood cells. So people who are dealing with who are anemic, this is a good source of iron, along with stinging nettle. But as I said before, always consult your healthcare provider or a licensed herbalist. Zinc, 7.14 milligrams. Manganese, 1.32 milligrams. Copper, less than 0.5 milligrams. Iodine, 24.5 milligrams, notably high, supporting thyroid health. So if you have an underperforming thyroid, such as hypothyroidism, which leads to weight gain and sluggishness and energy levels, this is a good source of iodine. Okay, micronutrients and vitamins. Contains appreciable levels of vitamins A, D as in David, E as in Echo, F as in Frank, K as in Kilo, C as in Charlie. So it's a good source of vitamins A, D, E, F, K, and C. And B complex, such as beta carotene, precursor to vitamin A, and alpha tocopherol, which is vitamin E, also present. Cobalamin, B12, 0.6 to 4 ppms. Sulfur, phosphorus, and other trace elements are also detected. Bioactive compounds, phenolics, and flavonoids. Significant amounts of polyphenols, flavonoids, and tannins have been identified which functions as antioxidants. So it protects your body from the free radicals that sometimes the cells that mutate. It helps all that deal with that also. And the so it contributes to protecting your body from inflammation also. So these particular compounds are really good frontline defense. Now you have one called phycoerythrin and carotenoids. These protein or amino acids and enzyme pigments contribute to antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. Isoflavones include compounds such as diazine, genistein, and biochinin. So please forgive me if I mispronounce these compounds. So it has a lot of trace nutrients that really can help your body thrive and be healthy. Unique compounds, phytopolysaccharides, rich in carrageenan and other polysaccharides, potentially beneficial for gut health and metabolic regulation. Amino acids include taurine, which is a precursor to neurotransmitters, and peptides such as gigartinin and L-citrullinol and L-arginine. So it has a lot of beneficial phytonutrients in it. Variability and safety. The nutrient profile can vary significantly due to environmental factors, growing conditions, and processing. Iodine and heavy metal levels may occasionally be excessively high, so sourcing and moderation are very important. So I usually, what you do, you take it, I have a video here where you can make your own sea moss gel. And I take about 2 ounces of it to 1/3 cup a day. But start out with about 2 ounces of sea moss gel per day. Add it to a smoothie. Okay. Summary table: Irish sea moss nutrient profile per 100 grams dry weight. So you get your amino acids and enzymes, aka protein, 10 to 27%, carbohydrate, 19 to 52%, lipid, 0.4 to 5.8%, sodium up to 4,270 milligrams, potassium up to 3,184 milligrams, calcium up to 1,120 milligrams, magnesium up to 732 milligrams, iron up to 17 milligrams, zinc 7.14 milligrams, manganese 1.32 milligrams, and iodine 24.5 milligrams. So also, in addition, Irish sea moss is thus considered a functional food due to its high content of amino acids and enzymes, minerals, vitamins, and unique bioactive compounds. However, scientific evidence for its direct health effects in humans is still limited, isolating the need for more clinical research. Now we're going to go into effects of Irish moss on the thyroid. Irish sea moss, Chondrus crispus or sea moss, has direct effects on thyroid health, largely due to its high natural iodine content. Because this is harvest from the ocean. You do not want sea moss gel sea moss from that's farm harvest. You want wildcraft sea moss. That means they go and harvest it from the ocean, dry it out, and sell it as is. That's the best way to get is wildcraft. It's not grown on a farm. It's not produced in a lab. It's all natural. So you got to be careful of where you get your sea moss gel from, because some people are not as reputable as others when it comes to sourcing sea moss. Okay? So the iodine scientific findings and clinical observations for the effect on the thyroid of sea moss. Iodine content and thyroid hormone production. Iris moss contains abundant iodine, an essential nutrient for making thyroid hormones T3 and T4. Adequate iodine supports normal thyroid function, which influences metabolism, energy levels, and overall hormonal balance. And it's true. One time I mistakenly taken Irish sea moss later in the day, probably was about after 3 p.m. I think it was. I couldn't get to sleep because it does energize you. It gives you a lot of energy. So it's good to take your Irish sea moss before 12 p.m. Okay? Support for hypothyroidism. That means an underperforming thyroid. Hypo means under, below. Okay? Hyper means above, excessive. So support for hypothyroidism. For individuals with mild iodine deficiency or underactive thyroid, hypothyroidism, which is you can find out how your thyroid is performing by having a lab test done. Ask your doctor, I need to have my thyroid evaluated to see how it's doing, how it's performing. Because an underperforming thyroid does contribute to weight gain. So if all of a sudden you're gaining weight and you haven't changed your dietary habits, talk to your doctor, have them check your thyroid. Okay? So Irish sea moss may help restore iodine levels and support thyroid hormone synthesis, especially when consumed in moderate portions. Having about 2 ounces of sea moss gel per day is pretty good for your thyroid health. Also, bladderwrack is good for thyroid health, another herb that we're going to discuss down somewhere in the future. Okay? Now, you got to be careful with iodine. You got to be careful and not taking too much, because there are risks of excessive iodine intake. Excessive intake of sea moss, if you take too much, beyond the recommended upper limit of, I guess you don't want to take more than 2 ounces per day to be safe. It can lead to disrupt thyroid function. So you want to be careful. Always talk to your doctor before taking any supplement, including natural herbs, including sea moss. Okay, this may trigger either hyperthyroidism, excess hormone production, or hypothyroidism, suppress hormone production. Case studies show that excessive or irregular intake may lead to thyroid dysfunction, including Jod-Basedow phenomenon. That's hyperthyroidism from excessive iodine, particularly in individuals with pre-existing thyroid disorders such as Graves' disease. So always talk to your doctor. And if need be, meet with a licensed herbalist. Okay? Cautions for thyroid disorders. People with autoimmune thyroid diseases such as Hashimoto's or Graves' should exercise caution. Irish moss may worsen an overactive thyroid or induce thyroid dysfunction if used without medical guidance or research. But it's best to talk to your doctor first. Discontinuing Irish sea moss in such cases have sometimes led to improvement. So if you have hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, or hypothyroidism, such as Hashimoto's or Graves' disease, talk to your doctor. Talk to an endocrinologist. That's a specialist, a medical specialist who deals with hormones and endocrine concerns. Okay, because they can better guide you, especially one who has a knowledge of traditional medicine, not Western medicine. Western medicine is not traditional, but who has a knowledge of ancient traditional medicine in addition to Western medicine, leading to a combination of both, which is called integrated medicine. So you want to use caution and always consult a licensed healthcare provider. Indirect thyroid benefits. Irish moss offers anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects, which may indirectly benefit thyroid health by reducing inflammation and oxidative damage in thyroid tissue. So you want to make sure that you use caution and common sense when using these herbs, first starting with consulting a healthcare provider. So the summary of this: iodine supplementation can support healthy thyroid hormone production, may help mild hypothyroidism, that's underperforming thyroid, useful for mild iodine deficiency, not a cure for severe disease. None of these herbs are meant as cures. What they do is help the body to do what it's supposed to do naturally. They offer support. Herbs are not meant to cure anything. They're just meant to help the body do what it should be doing naturally. It's not a medication. Okay, it may cause thyroid dysfunction if you take in too much sea moss. Risks include hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism. Not suitable for thyroid disorders, should be avoided or used with caution in Graves or Hashimoto's. Consult your doctor first and do your research. Anti-inflammatory, antioxidant support may benefit thyroid tissue indirectly. So, professional guidance here. I'm reading. Overall, Irish moss may support thyroid health when used judiciously in individuals without existing thyroid issues, but overconsumption is risky, and anyone with thyroid concerns should first consult a healthcare provider before supplementing with sea moss. So you want to make sure that you use common sense when approaching these herbs. In the first order of business, you consult a medical professional, have their lab workup, have them do a lab workup on your thyroid's performance, because you don't know if you have hypothyroidism or hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. So you want to use caution because you only get one body. Okay, so you want to take really good care of it. Thank you very much for stopping by. Again, this is about Irish sea moss, its benefits and drawbacks. I tried to share both sides of the research. This particular plant requires even more clinical studies, more testing, and that's going on as we speak, because more and more people are turning to plant-based alternatives and herbal alternatives, instead of going to take traditional drugs from the drugstore as prescribed by a doctor. Because plant-based medicine, or that's not medicine, but plant-based nutrients, they don't have as many side effects as does drugs, be they OTCs, over-the-counter, or prescribed drugs. And I'm speaking from experience. When I was on thyroid medication, I was on 2 different ones. I had a lot of side effects, and it was not comfortable. So in switching over to taking Irish sea moss, my thyroid is doing well. Another thing, when it pertains to thyroid health, alcohol can damage your thyroid. So you want to watch how much you drink, okay? Because alcohol can damage the thyroid. It can cause problems with your thyroid. It can result in hypothyroidism. And the effects of alcohol on the thyroid can be really hard, because I noticed that when I was once drinking, I noticed my thyroid really slowed down. So you want to be careful, because the effect of alcohol on your thyroid can lead to cellular toxicity and thyroid suppression. Okay? Direct toxicity. Alcohol can cause direct damage to thyroid cells. This toxicity suppresses thyroid function and may reduce the volume of the thyroid gland, causing it to shrink. And this is especially evident in heavy drinkers. Also, it can reduce your T3 and T4 hormones. Chronic and heavy alcohol use has been shown to decrease the levels of thyroid hormones T3 and T4 and suppress the response of TSH, that's the thyroid stimulating hormone, to it can cause it to be disrupted, to TRH, which is thyrotropin releasing hormone. So heavy alcohol consumption can disrupt these delicate hormones, and it can lead to nutrient depletion. Alcohol impairs absorption and utilization of nutrients essential for thyroid health, like iodine, selenium, zinc, tyrosine, vitamin B6, and B12. Deficiencies in these nutrients further disrupt thyroid hormone production and conversion, particularly the conversion of T4 to T3. So the impact on thyroid disorders: hypothyroidism, underperforming thyroid. Alcohol is linked to increased risk of hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid. It interferes with thyroid hormone synthesis, nutrient absorption, and liver function, which is involved in thyroid hormone metabolism. It can lead to goiter and inflammation. That's when you have that, you see some people with that bulge right on their neck. The thyroid is damaged, so it is swollen. So they call that a goiter. Goiter and inflammation. Even moderate drinking can lead to goiter, enlarged thyroid, and inflammation, especially in those already diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Also, hyperthyroidism. Alcohol may aggravate hyperthyroidism symptoms by worsening dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, and nutrient deficiencies that are important for thyroid health. So if you can give up alcohol, give it up. If you're drinking a little too much, reduce your alcohol intake. And if you need help in reducing your alcohol consumption, always consult someone such as a alcohol or substance abuse counselor who can give you guidance on how to either reduce your alcohol consumption or eliminate alcohol consumption. So complications for thyroid medication. Alcohol use can diminish the effects of thyroid medications by hindering nutrient absorption necessary for medication metabolism and hormone conversion. So you want to be careful. The key takeaways are heavy or chronic alcohol use associated with thyroid cell damage, reduced hormone production, and those hormones are T3, T4, and TSH, increased risk of hypothyroidism, goiter, and possible nutrient deficiencies. Moderate consumption may slightly reduce the risk of some thyroidism, but let's put it like this: alcohol has no redeeming qualities, okay? If you have thyroid problems, avoid excessive alcohol, as it can worsen symptoms and complicate treatment and hormone balance. So nutritional status is important. Alcohol's role in nutrient depletion is a key mechanism behind its negative effects on thyroid function. So if you have or suspect thyroid issue, it's best to discuss alcohol use with your healthcare provider to manage the risk and support thyroid health. Excuse me. So it's very important to take care of your thyroid. You only get one. There's no such thing as thyroid replacement surgery. So if you drink, take it easy. If you like, hard alcohol such as tequila and bourbon and gin, what you do, just have one shot and drink plenty of water. Okay, so you can stay hydrated, so you can protect your thyroid, and take in some sea moss gel. Okay, because there's nothing wrong with, moderate drinking, light to moderate drinking, if you're doing it responsibly. Okay, so thank you for stopping by. And I will put a link where you can purchase sea moss gel, where I get sea moss gel. I get it from Amazon because for me, Amazon is easy to use. You're in, you're out. You don't have to deal with re-entering your credit card information or any of that. Just go there and get what you need. So I'm going to provide a direct link to the brand of sea moss gel that I use. Okay? Thank you.